guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Porsche Clearwater, and guess what? I have that new updated version of the 911, which is really getting a lot of people talking. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Porsche 911. Now, this is the new updated 992.2 chassis, but this being a GTS 4 Cabriolet also has a first time ever performance hybrid power plant. But before we get into this all-wheel drive special 911, let's talk about what's going on here. So the GTS, the 911 GTS, first appeared back in 2010. That was the 997.2 chassis. Since then, the GTS has always been that go-to for people that want a curated, bespoke 911 that has a lot of the special parts and touches from other 911 models. And remember, today, there's about 25 different 911s. When you think about Carrera, Carrera T, Turbo, Turbo S, GT3, GT3 Touring, GT3 RS. You get my point, right? So with this GTS, we now see Porsche going in a little bit different direction because it has its own unique power plant, different from any other 2025 992.2 chassis 911s. Still able to get it in a Targa. I featured that car, and I'll have the video at the end of this review. That one was already sold, so I couldn't drive it. But this one is still available, and that means we're going to be going on throttle. But what I want to find out is, at the end of the day, when it comes to sports cars, you have a lot of performance cars, a lot of sports cars to choose from. Is the 911 GTS the one that should be sports car of the year? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this one and find out. Right off the bat, very traditional color. White is one of those colors on Porsches, especially when they're testing their race cars. They always come in a shade of white. This particular one is literally called white, and it is a no-cost option color. At the front of the business, you're gonna see the refresh on the headlights that all 911s for 2025 get. What they did was they took the turn signals, they brought them into the headlight housing instead of on the lower bumpers. So you have your LED turn signals, which are also your daytime running lamps, and that LED headlight. On the GTS, you're still gonna get all those blacked out interior touches. So nothing shiny besides around the actual LED headlight on the housing itself compared to, say, a Carrera. So that's one of the touches on a GTS. Now, new for 2025, besides the unique power plant, the GTS has a totally one-off front fascia. You're gonna notice these flat black grills that actually open and close. They swivel when they need more air or less air. And I'm gonna have Steven kind of swing around and show you from the angle I was looking at that you could see the heat exchangers behind those. You do have extra areas for airflow to go to brake cool, the heat exchangers, and aerodynamics. But this vertical grill area is new, and it's unique only to the GTS. And that goes whether you get a GTS Cabriolet, a coupe, or a Targa. Now, as we come across that unmistakable front end of a 911, you'll see it's not my favorite looking thing, but that is gonna house some of the new technology like night vision, which this has. But it does kind of kill the look a little bit, so I am gonna zonk it. It is fully functional on both sides to bring more cool air for the heat exchangers. But let me know what you think about the face of the GTS, unique to the 911 lineup. Now, as we rise up, you got that traditional low slung hood. Of course, underneath this Porsche badge, you're gonna have a front mounted trunk, has about 5 cubic feet of space, and that Porsche crest goes all the way back to when Dr. Ferdinand Porsche started this amazing sports car company. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working? Wheel and tire setup. These are gonna be your GTS wheels that you're getting from the Turbo. V-spoke design, love the flat black. They are center locking hubs like you find on the Turbo and the Turbo S. Big, ginormous Prego tomato sauce Brembo calipers, 6-piston calipers, Rotors are two-piece cross-drilled, and then this does also have PASM, Porsche Adaptive Suspension Management System. Actually has the car sit a little bit lower than your standard cabriolet. But I like the way when you go GTS, like I said, you're getting some of these bespoke, curated parts from other mighty 911s, the wheels being one of them. And I like this. This is a new wheel design for 2025. Looks fantastic. The chef's kiss right there. Now, tires, what are we working here? Up front, you're gonna have 20 inches in diameter. Tires are gonna be 245 on the width, and then a very thin rubber band-esque 40s series sidewall. And then with this being a Cabriolet 4, the 4 means we have all-wheel drive. So it's rear-wheel drive base, but power is also gonna come to the front wheels as well to give you all that grip. Now coming down the side, that white painted around the windshield frame, white on our mirror caps, 360-degree cameras, that's an option. And then you'll notice the T Hybrid badge. That is part of the puzzle of this new GTS. For the first time ever in 911 history, this is a performance hybrid. Internal combustion engine paired with an electric motor to give you extra power. Can't wait to take you on throttle. I really feel like a 911 looks great as a coupe, looks great as a Targa, but definitely looks good as a convertible with that top down. Color matched on the door handles. Obviously those go flush when you go down the road. The one thing I do have to zonk is I wish that it had more of a tonneau cover like a Speedster. And then you're gonna get that sexy wide rear end, because out back we got more rubber to meet the road. 21-inch wheel in diameter, so 20 inches up front, 21 inches out back. Look at those calipers. 4-piston calipers on the rear. And of course we have a limited slip diff to help get that. It's an electronic limited slip diff to get the power to the ground. Tires out back are gonna be 305s. Really, really crazy. Nice to have that extra wide width. And if you're wondering, well, why do they have a skinnier tire up front and a wider tire out back? It's for handling. A skinnier tire is gonna turn quicker than a wider tire. And because this is mostly a rear-wheel drive vehicle with power going to the front, you want more rubber to meet the road. And I'm not sure, I think I said 305. The sun is starting to get to me. 315s on the back. 315s. It's like a steamroller. Now, as we come around the back, you have your active spoiler, which is gonna raise and lower, gives it that nice, clean 911 style. We got the cleared taillights and the new lighting that goes all the way across the back. On the GTS, you have the black with the color matched exterior vertical slots, like that touch with your third brake light, really nicely positioned. And remember, that's gonna come up and go down. 911 Carrera 4 GTS. That's a mouthful, but there is a mouthful of technology and performance here. And then working our way down to ground level, we have our sport exhaust with the black rings around the exterior. And I like the way they work the lower bumper area. Really makes it look like a freaking race car. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop this hatch cover and see, or maybe not see, what's powering this GTS. All right, guys, now one of the things that I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again, that kind of bums me out. Being a car guy, a car person, I wanna see the engine. And if you go back to the air-cooled 911 days, you could see a bunch of stuff underneath that rear engine hatch. On the newer ones, not so much. Now, one thing I wanna point out before we dive in is that with this being a performance hybrid, it actually has the battery pack located up front, very low in between the front wheels. That's gonna help with your center of gravity and of course, try to get some of the weight off the back of the car and move it forward. Now, with the Cabriolet hatch up, this is all you're gonna see. You got 911, you got your two cooling fans, but what is underneath all the rest of the bodywork? It's a new engine, 3.6 liter turbocharged flat six, paired with an electric motor. Are you ready for this? 532 horsepower, 449 pound-feet of torque. If you look at last year's GTS, that put out around 486 horsepower. So now we have 532 horsepower. It uses a 1.9 kilowatt lithium ion battery pack that's up front. One of the sad things is that there's no manual anymore for the GTS. 8-speed PDK only, but the good news is 0 to 60, 2.5 seconds, quarter mile in 10.5 seconds, a top speed of 194 miles an hour. Being the convertible, especially a 4, you're looking at 3,700 pounds, MPGs, 17 in the city, and 23 on the highway. So like I said, a little bit of a bummer not to be able to see the engine, but I can't wait to take you on throttle, especially with this new single turbo 3.6 liter flat 6 with the electric motor assist. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Porsche 911 GTS. It's a GTS 4 Cabriolet. You can get a GTS Cabriolet that's just rear-wheel drive, so that is something to remember. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the price. So MSRP for this particular vehicle base is $186,000. This particular one, just like a lot of other Porsches, you start checking off those option boxes, and this one has quite a few options, the price goes up. So you're looking at an MSRP of $214,000. But let's see just how good this new 992.2 GTS is. To the door panels, love that leather. The black with the red stitching, and then you have the Bordeaux with the same color stitching, nicely angled there in the center, full leather. We do have our premium sound system with the aluminum speaker grille covers, and you have that center pocket there that's perfect for 3 bratwursts. Now going from the door panel to the dash, the red stitching, the leather, the carbon fiber with the optional white. The white color from the exterior brought into the interior. You have a hidden cup holder right there. Close that up. You're not drinking in my Porsche, that's for sure. Come on in. Up top, you got your sport chrono clock. Down below, 10.2-inch infotainment system. It's got all that same usability as before on all the modern 911s, the 992 chassis. Love the way it's got the picture of our white GTS with that new front end, the new wheels. You could go in, turn on the sport exhaust, the chassis, want to go into sport mode. All this could be done on the screen, but there's other ways to do it as well. Throw it into reverse. Look how clear the resolution is. Absolutely incredible. You have trajectory, 360. This does have optional front axle lift. There's your PDCC for your suspension. Dual climate control with real audio knobs. The one zonk I have is the gloss black. This should be carbon freaking fiber. What the heck is going on here? But I do like the way it says 911. This is the controls for your convertible top. You got 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats, more carbon fiber. This is for the smokers package. A lot of people like to just option it in. I like to fill these up with Mike and Ike's while I'm driving, and just pop a couple Mike and Ike's, maybe some hot tamales, because this interior is pretty damn hot. Love that Bordeaux. Open it up. Here's our key fob. Actually looks like a little 911. It's got the Porsche crest on it. Wireless charging, 2 USB-Cs. And then this one has the optional 930 Porsche seats. So you see how these are, how it's stitched with these horizontal bars? That's how the original Porsche 930 was. So this is actually an option with the Porsche crest in the headrest and that 2-tone. Working your way down. These are the 18-way adjustable seats. And then, of course, with the top up, you still got lots of headroom. And just like Porsches of the past, you still have rear seats. Not the most comfortable for taller people, but if you know shorter people in your lives, that's where they're going to feel right at home, like 2 peas in a pod. But why don't you come over here? I want to show you where I'm feeling like I'm at home with this freaking Porsche steering wheel in this 911. Come on over. Let me show you. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 3 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. Love the carbon fiber with the 911 Carrera 4 GTS badge. And then look at that pedal box, right out of a race car. Nice dev pedal, brake pedal, and throttle that has some aluminum. You actually could get full aluminum optional pedals, but I'm happy with this. Seats are so comfortable. Good bolstering, like I said, with the top up. You got plenty of room. Put the top down, you got Shaquille O'Neal room. Steering wheel, love the leather. I love to rub my hands all over this. Even the way they hollow out the spokes. Here's your drive mode selector knob. Press that, you're gonna get extra torque and boost just for a few seconds. Metal paddles to go up and down. That's 8-speed PDK. It is an electric tilting and telescoping wheel. One of the things that makes me sad is the new 911s have a start-stop button. No more twist ignition. And then you got that 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. Tach still in the center, all your other gauges. And of course, you could go into your different modes. We're gonna be going Sport Plus. Now, there is a frunk. There isn't a trunk. You do have the back seat though, so if you're really concerned about cargo space, throw the stuff in the back seat. What I want to do is, I'm not showing you the frunk, 5 cubic feet of space. That's it. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I think this 911's ready. We need to go on throttle in this all-new Carrera 4 GTS. All right, guys, we're leaving Porsche Clearwater. We're in this 911 Carrera 4 GTS. I'm gonna put in manual shift mode. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go, yeah! Wow! Wow, 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 wow. Without having any kind of turbo lag, this thing rockets off because that hybrid motor is gonna get rid of any kind of turbo lag, especially with a single turbo. But with the electric motor, it's instant freaking-taneous. Of course, the PDK transmission shifts so quickly. I love the crisp downshifts. And the steering is just, it's divine. It's like it's connected right to your freaking brain. Are you ready? I'm ready. On throttle! Oh my God! Wow, wow, wow. Look at this. Love the sound being pumped in to the cabin. And even things like as simple as the paddles, where they put the paddles are perfectly placed. And they're metal, which is nice. But seating position is great. Porsche has been evolving the 911 since the 1960s, and it really shows. It shows so well because the vehicle performs like no other. Instrumentation is easy to read, but the PDK, man, I mean, the downshifts are just, like I said, they're just so fast. So fast. You ready? On throttle! Really unique driving experience in this Carrera 4 GTS. Wow. Wow. And then at the end of the day, the 18-way adaptive sport seats are so comfortable. They look fantastic, especially option with that 930 package on them. But you just get it. You get why Porsche, with the 911, there just is no substitute. Yeah, the price is gonna be higher than a C8. But once you get behind the wheel, you kind of get a better understanding of why it is that way. Really smooth. Even with the top up, you're not getting any wind noise. Little road noise because of those 20 and 21-inch wheels with their tires wrapped around them, but I love the sound I'm getting from the back of the car. That's really what's making me very, very happy. The downshifts, unbelievable. Let's see if I can get this top down, and we're gonna go on throttle. So I'm at 27 miles an hour, top is going down. Very, very quick with that soft top. Top is completely down, and if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle! Wow. Unbelievable. Brakes are superb, good pedal feedback. And the 18-way adjustable seats are really the way to go to get that everyday performance and everyday comfort. You ready? On throttle! Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. You ready? I'm ready. This T-hybrid system is intense, and you push that red button, it gives you that over rev and over boost for 20 seconds. 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. With all-wheel drive, you got all the grip in the world. I could probably change the revolution of Earth right now. I could change the rotating direction of planet Earth with the way that this car is. That's how much grip you have. Absolutely bonkers. And then, like I said, the seats are comfortable. Getting to that 10-inch infotainment system is well within reach. Yeah, it doesn't have the twist ignition anymore, and there's no physical tachometer, which is a bit of a bummer, but it still feels like a 911. It still is a 911. And it's a great addition to the lineup. This slots in nicely because they still have a Carrera T if you want a manual, or if you want a manual with that naturally aspirated flat six, you could go GT3 or GT3 Touring. And then they have all the other trims. Like I said, 25 plus different 911s available. If you can't find a 911 that you like, we may not be able to be friends, I don't know. Let's go from a dead stop here. And I'm gonna do the over rev. You ready? On throttle! Yeah! Wow! Wow, wow, wow! Jeez Louise, this thing is absolutely ridiculous on every freaking level. Every level. But I hope that you've enjoyed finally getting on throttle. I promised you we would do this. But nice to keep promises and nice to take you on throttle with me in this cabriolet version of the new 911 GTS 4. We're gonna get back to Porsche Clearwater and wrap this up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, that was one heck of a driving experience in this GTS 4 cabriolet. Definitely got to thank Larry and the rest of the team here for getting us access to this vehicle. Let me know what you think. Is this sports car of the year? I'm dying to hear what you have to say in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rice family. Gotta get up to Stephen Flood. He loves Porsches, especially bright white Porsches. So Stephen got his wish today. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.